All right, guys. What we're gonna do with this video is I'm just gonna kind of go over everything we're gonna need to know for the Unit 9 test. I know some of you have already taken it. So if you have already taken it and you've used like both attempts, I'm gonna open it up for one more attempt, and I'm also going to extend the deadline through probably like Monday night, okay? Because I just want everybody to have a chance to do well on the test, and we're gonna go over this, everything. We've got 9A, 9B, 9C. We're just gonna talk about real quick to make sure everybody feels good about it, and that way we can move forward. So the first thing we'll start with is just over here on the right side. So everything in Unit 9, anytime you see anything with a P and then parentheses like this, that means you're gonna be using a fraction. And unless you're in 9C, so if you're in 9A or 9B, you're basically gonna be picking out what's gonna be on top of the fraction. So there'll be something, so I'll even do this, something like on top of the fraction that'll just be something we care about, right? Sorry if it's a little shaky. Kind of jerry-rigged up this video thing for you guys. But anyway, okay, so it'll be the probability of something divided by the overall total. It's always the overall total unless you're in 9C, okay? So the overall total, okay? So that's gonna be, again, yeah, for 9A and 9B. Otherwise, so if the question is just asking like how many, and if it doesn't have something like this, then you're just gonna be counting up the numbers based on what is being asked, okay? So that's the main first thing I wanted to go over. And now we'll go through the three separate sort of subunits. So I'll start here with 9A, just wanna make sure everyone can see it. Okay, so 9A has to do with our different symbols. Okay, we have our intersection symbol, our union symbol, and then our complement symbol. So anytime we see this with A, and I just use A and B, those are just two things, okay? So it's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be like, well, like it'll be very obvious in the question what the two things are. So it'll be, I don't know, we had a lot of dessert examples in class, so it would be like ice cream and boy, or, you know, cake and girl. So what that means is you're only counting the overlap. So again, if we could imagine like a Venn diagram where this is A and then this is B. So with and, you're only counting what's overlapped, okay? So then the next one is or, and this is our union symbol, okay, our U. And with this one, you're counting everything that's in either category, including the overlap. So everything in A works. All of this in A works. Everything in B works. All of this in B works. We're happy with that. Also, the overlap, you're counting everything, okay? If there are any questions about that, there's a Khan Academy video in the Unit 9 test section, so maybe that can help hearing it from someone else other than me. Okay, and so then our last one for 9A is gonna be our complement. That's anything with a little, like, to the power of C is sort of what it looks like. And that just means not. So everything that's not in A, you're just gonna count up everything that isn't in A. That one seems pretty straightforward, okay? So 9A, I hope that you guys are good on that. Now we'll move to 9B, kind of right here in the middle. So the 9B process is the one thing in this unit that is pretty much the same throughout. So like anything 9B, if you're checking for independence, kind of going back to how we defined A and B up here, really A is just one thing and B is just another thing. And so if it's asking you to figure out what is, so again, let's go back to saying that like you want to find if based on the problem being a girl is independent of liking ice cream. Okay, so then what you're gonna do is, and it doesn't matter which is which. You can say A is being a girl and B is ice cream, like whatever. So you're gonna find the total number of girls, and then again, you're dividing by the overall total for the whole entire thing, okay? And you're gonna multiply that by the total number of B, so that would be like your total number of ice cream. And you're gonna divide that by the overall total. So this is gonna give you a decimal, and this is gonna give you a decimal. So you can even think about it as like two separate things in parentheses, okay? And then you're gonna see whether or not that's equal to the intersection, which again, the intersection is only A and B. So if we go back up here, that intersection is only the middle part, and you're dividing that by the overall total. Again, all these three, you're dividing all of them by the overall total, okay? So when I'm done with this, actually right now, maybe after I'm finished explaining what's going on right here, I'll flip over to an example in the review and we can kind of just double check this, okay? So if that's true, and by true I mean if they're equal, so if this whole left side equals this whole right side, okay, so if the product of these two equals just the intersection, probability of the intersection, then it's independent. If those decimals are not equal, then it is dependent, okay? So let's look at one of our review examples real quick. Let's see, let's find 9b, okay. This is gonna be a pretty good one, I think. Let me just double check, make sure we can all see that, okay. So right here with this problem number 9, we wanted to find, so this whole question, parts A, B, C, and D, this is basically the step-by-step process for checking independence, okay? So really, if we want to look at like the big picture of it, what is being asked is really right here in part D, the probability of picking an 11th grader independent of choosing a Kit Kat, okay? So 11th grade is going to be A. Choosing a Kit Kat, that's going to be B. So what we're doing is we're setting up this equation, probability of being in 11th grade, and seeing if it's, or then we multiply it by the probability of liking Kit Kat. So I kind of went, we're good. So A was here, that's 11th grade. B is Kit Kat, so probability of Kit Kat. And then we're seeing whether or not that's equal to the probability of being in 11th grade and liking Kit Kat. So what we did in part A is we found this, okay? Little a was the probability of Kit Kat, okay? So we did our number of Kit Kats, which is the total Kit Kats. So Kit Kat total, that's 57 divided by the overall total, 137. Okay, so that was right here. 57 divided by 137, that's about 0.42. Then what we did in part B was we used the table to find the probability that the person is in 11th grade. Okay, so we went for our total 11th graders was 93, and we divided by, again, our overall total of 137 to get approximately 0.68. Okay, and so then when we multiply both of those together, that's what's done down here, that gives us about 0.29, okay? So these two things being multiplied together is about 0.29. And we're seeing whether or not that is equal to the intersection. And again, the intersection is where they cross over, okay? So that's just right here, 11th grade and Kit Kat, that's where they cross over right here, which is 51 divided by 137. We did the math here, we got 0.37. I'll put it in both spots, 0.37, because it's that intersection divided by the overall total again. Notice that the overall total is what's being divided for all three. Okay, so we double check this and we're saying, is this true? Is 0.29 equal to 0.37? Well, obviously not. Those are not the same. So with that being said, this is dependent, okay? So we get this answer and we get that it is dependent. So I hope that going through that example in a little more depth helps you out on your 9b problems, because they're really all exactly the same. You just need to identify the two things, and then you find the intersection, and then we just kind of do the math as you can see here. So again, this is problem 9 on the review. So now real quick, let's just go back over the 9c process. So the process for 9c is all about establishing new fractions, okay? So I said that down here. And so again, if we were to go back to the idea of A being a girl and B being liking ice cream, then having it laid out like this, what you're really saying is B is the overall total. So in this case, it would be number of girls that like ice cream, or I'm sorry, number of overall people that like ice cream, regardless of if they're a boy or a girl. That would be what we would have here, the total for ice cream. And then because A would be being a girl, we would have A within B. So it would be the girls that like ice cream divided by the overall number of people that like ice cream, okay? And I think 9C, a lot of people seemed to understand that pretty well. That's really easy with the two-way tables. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that this is enough to help you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, I'm not like coming after your grade here or anything. I know that this is really weird for a lot of people, and it's very difficult to try to learn in this way when we've been so used to having me basically being readily available to you guys at all times. But I'm here to help. And again, I want to reiterate that if anyone like really struggled with this exam or with this unit in general, by the time we're back to school, whenever that ends up being, hopefully it's sooner rather than later, but by the time we're all back to school, I'll be able to help you guys out, and we can work on, making up any points that maybe you missed because some of these concepts weren't entirely clear, okay? So good luck, and again, I'm going to be giving everybody one extra chance on this test and extending the deadline through Monday night. So that way, if you're feeling not great, or if you took the test a couple times and you didn't do well for whatever the reason, and you're kind of like panicking right now, I don't want you guys to stress out. There's more important things to be worrying about than your probability test in math, okay? So good luck, everybody. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next video, I guess.